Look at the camera. Everything looks alright. Hopefully the mic sounds alright. Maybe just a touch. And the Rambo is first in the door. And right behind him is Rudy, and Kathy's here. All right. Holy kielbasa! Hang on a minute. We just had a major malfunction. The microphone fell right off the goddamn microphone rack. Holy Christ. All right, let's get this thing back up where it belongs. Ah, damn. Microphone fell right off the mount. Jesus. Broadcasting live from station WDWL TV, Studio 2A with a fucked up microphone. It's the Grumpy Old Man, brought to you by Grumpy Vulture Productions. No bow. Damn. That'll teach to check equipment before you start anything. I just touched the. I don't know how it stood on there for so long. I just touched it, and all of a sudden the microphone fell down. It went to mute. I was like, holy kielbasa. I'll tell you what, I have had some malfunctions over the years. I've never had a microphone fall off the mount. I guess perfect for Holloween. And now I'm getting rid of this. Oh man, I don't know how you women can wear wigs. Holy shit. I've only had that thing on like 5 minutes and my head is sweating like crazy. Happy Halloween, everybody. Kathy, I got 3 packages today. One was my LED green license plate lamps. Another was my LED rear stop lamps, and the third package was my triple square special torque sockets that I need for in case I ever need them. I already checked with Ryan. He has his own, so because I told him, I said, if you need them, I have a set. So maybe the package will be here tomorrow. Although we did have a substitute carrier today, and sometimes they get lazy. So maybe the package was supposed to be here today and it's still in the truck waiting for Jasmine to deliver it tomorrow. I gotta tell her, quit taking days off. Bad enough she was off for a week and a half with some sort of, as the British would say, respiratory infection. She said all these years being a postal carrier, never once got a respiratory infection. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, and it was basically serious enough where she had to take a week and a half off. I says to her, I says, I got an inhaler in case you need it. She's like, maybe today, I know they have rotating days off, which is goofy. Although when I checked my informed delivery, it just stated 3 packages and no letters. And that's what I got, 3 packages, no letters. Because my buddy up in Massachusetts sent me a birthday present, and it's not here yet. So maybe tomorrow, for my actual birthday. Yeah, I was supposed to be born today. I didn't want to come out of that nice, warm, cozy space. And it took until my mother went into labor like 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Halloween, and I wasn't born until 7:58 in the morning. Now here's a little interesting bit of trivia. My son was born on Cinco de Mayo at 7:58 a.m. Same time as me. And I'll tell you something that really pissed me off. I misplaced my birth certificate. So I had to order a replacement from City of Cleveland. The replacement from City of Cleveland is a stupid little piece of paper that they type out. You know, mother's maiden name, father's name, address, That's it. well, child's name. I wanted the big official one where it shows the time and the doctor and the hospital. And I guess the only way to get it, I probably would have to go to City Hall and request a copy of the actual. This stupid thing that I got. Yeah, you know, Kathy, it didn't hit me until maybe a year after he was born, and I don't know why we had all the birth certificates out. We were putting them in the. We were going to take them to the bank, put them in a safe deposit box, and I'm reading mine over, 7:58 a.m. And then I'm looking at his and goes 7:58 a.m. I'm like, wow, what are the chances of that? That's how I ordered it, Ron. That's how I ordered it. I guess in order to get a copy of the actual, you probably have to go to City Hall. I got this stupid thing that if it didn't say, certificate of live birth with a big seal from the city on it, I would have thought it was some kind of joke. Yeah, I went on there, $20, or was it 10? I think it was 10. And then I get this goofy thing back that I thought, I'm looking at the envelope going, what the hell's this piece of shit? And then, oh, I'll tell you what, talk about getting pissed off. I go up to my local ward office that the councilman runs so that we don't have to go downtown. And I show up, and the girl says, how can I help you? And I said, yeah, I'm here to get my HEAP and my PIP applications done for next year. It goes here. We can't do them. I said, what do you mean you can't do them? She says, no funds. I said, what do you mean no funds? Well, the government shut down HEAP and the PIP program. The only program that they have is some program if you're in crisis, like if your gas is shut off or your electric's shut off. So it don't look like I'm going to get a credit like I got last year. My HEAP, what did I get? Like $285. And then my, percentage of income payment plan for my electricity, you pay the same amount every month. If my bill's $200, I pay 86. My bill's $90, I pay 86. And then the government pays the rest. So I guess when these two programs expire, I'm going to get screwed. And I hate going on that apples to apples website where you have to, pick an electric rate, and then you got to see, okay, is it variable? Is it for a year? Is it for 3 months? Last time I went on that website, I screwed myself. Yeah, you have to check the rate, and then you got to see if it's locked in, if it's a variable, and then is it 3 months? Is it 6 months? Is it 9 months? Is it a year? Because when the program, like when my PIP expires, I don't know when, but as soon as the program expires, whatever electric supplier you're with, they take advantage of you. Like with my when my gas program expired, my year was up. My rate was like $3.30 per million cubic feet. The next bill I get was $9.99 per million. I was like, holy shit! I called them. I said, I'm done with you people. That's it. I'm done. I'm done. I'm going somewhere else. Now, don't get excited, sir. I said, don't get excited. I went from $3 to $10. I said, I'm looking at a bill that's outrageous here. Well, we don't want you to quit. Hold on. She comes back and she goes, okay, if you're willing to lock in for a year, we have $3.09 instead of the 3.30 or the 9.99, and we will give you a full credit for the bill that you are holding in your hand right now. I said, send me an email verifying what you just told me on the phone. And they did. It's not like back in the day. You call the electric company. Well, in Cleveland at that time, we had two. We had the illuminating company and we had Cleveland Public Power. So you could choose between companies. And I'm glad I took the illuminating company because Cleveland Public Power, the power went out half the time. And then for gas, you had one. East Ohio Gas. Hello. Hook me up. I bought this house. Hook me up. Okay. Now, every year, you have to go in and choose another supplier where you got to go through every rate, and there must be like 200 goddamn suppliers. Currently, my gas supplier is out of Houston, Texas. And the goofy thing is, the gas is coming through the same gas line from East Ohio. Well, it was East Ohio Gas, then it was East Ohio Dominion, and now it's Enbridge. They got bought out. Whoever Enbridge is, I think they're an outfit out of Pennsylvania. They don't make it easy for people. And I would suppose it's like this everywhere. Unless you have like heating oil or propane. When I when I had my mobile home, or what do they call it? Manufactured housing, I had propane heat. And wouldn't you know it, middle of February, I forget to order propane. Woke up in the morning like, holy shit, it's cold in here. I'm clicking the thermostat, furnace ain't going on. Pull out the space heater. I call the propane company. I said, hey, well, you forgot to order, sir. You guys don't automatically check? Well, no, it's your job. That's why there's a meter on the propane tank. Well, I need propane. I'm freezing my balls off right now. Well, we're not sure if we can get out there today. I said, if you don't get out here today, I'm going to go to your competition. Because we had two propane suppliers at the time. Oh, don't do anything drastic, sir. I said, well, if I don't see a truck out here in an hour or so, I'm calling your competition because they're just down the road. It was amazing how fast their truck was filling my propane tank. Now that I've knocked this mic down, I forgot to ask you, is it too loud? All the controls are all screwed up. Aren't you kind of rushing the season there? Putting up your Christmas. God, it's not even Thanksgiving yet. No, when you're living in a mobile home park and you have propane, you have to check the tank. They don't just drive by and go, "Oh, we need to fill that." Every month you need to order your propane. And I forgot. And boy, did I hate cooking on that propane stove. It's not like natural gas. There's a big difference when you're cooking on a propane stove. It's tough to regulate the heat. You turn the flame up too high, turn it down too low. Thank God I was only there a year. Well, it took them long enough around. Jeez. All right, now that you're getting the 3 month extension, what are you gonna do? You gonna buy a house? Do you need that 3 months in order to close a deal? And that way you get away from the elephants. I don't know if I'm going to like this brand of coffee. Ain't strong enough. I bought some pods that were on sale. Is that going to give you enough time? They must close faster on properties out there than they do here. It took forever when I bought my first house for it to close. But that's great news, Ron. Nothing like being a homeowner. You don't have nobody stomping around upstairs unless it's the cat or the dog. Is this going to be in Tempe or you moving out of? Well, you're not going to get away from the heat no matter where you move, unless you move east. Are you staying in Arizona or am I being too nosy? Well, watch the damn microphone fall again. Easy, 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 easy. Easy, easy. Oh, gonna be around Tucson. Well, the heat's gonna be the same no matter where you go. I guess I'm gonna have to look at a map. I don't know where Tempe, Tucson, or Scottsdale are. I guess my childhood friend emailed me today and said that her therapy is going quite well and she's almost has full use of her what side did she say, right or left? Either way, she said hopefully by the end of November she'll be able to drive again. So that was pretty good news. Mainly she was lucky because her friend noticed right away. They were sitting at the table having a cup of coffee, and she saw the side of her face start to droop. And then she was having a little bit of a problem talking. And her friend right away called EMS, and they got her to the hospital pretty quickly. and they administered that, what the hell, like a TPA shot or something, and they were basically able to catch the damn stroke before it did a lot of damage. So she said, hopefully by the end of November, she'll be out driving her 53 Studebaker Commander again. Or her 54 Chevy pickup truck. Which both of them look wonderful, except she had the pickup truck converted to an automatic. It originally had a 4-speed in it. I said, why did you do that? You ruined the truck. She said, I drove enough manual transmissions in the Army. I ain't driving no more. Automatics for me. I would have loved to seen her driving a deuce and a half. Although, what did she used to drive the tank retrievers. That's what she was driving. Which is like a huge, huge, huge semi. Yeah, she did two tours, Iran, Iraq, over there somewhere. She had a total of, I think she said 16 years in the Army. She started out in the motor pool, mainly because she had taken auto mechanics in high school. And from that, she graduated. I don't know if it graduating to driving a tank retriever and a deuce and a half. I give her a lot of credit, I'll tell you what. Because she said she took a lot of ribbon. Because there, as a matter of fact, she was the only female in the motor pool over there. Which made her stepfather happy because her stepfather was a lifer in the Army. He was a cook. Spent his whole career with 20, I think she said 25 years as a cook. I like they don't call it like us normal people. They call it mess because he had gotten several awards for the best mess. They have competitions, I guess, among all the different units. And he had a shitload of awards. I'll never forget the one day I was looking at him up on the mantle in the living room, and I didn't understand Army shit. I said, best mess? I said, what do you guys go in the barracks and throw all kinds of shit around, and then the general comes in and goes, man, what a mess. And this is the best one I've seen. He said, it's food. I said, like a food fight? He said, no. I said, well, explain it. He said, well, it's like Army catering. Oh, okay. He said, why do you think they call it a mess hall? I said, I don't know. And then after he got done being pissed off at me, he explained the awards. And I guess being awarded best mess is quite prestigious because you compete with cooks from all military bases. It's like a cook-off, a mess-off. Yeah, I kind of pissed him off. It's the best mess. What do you guys go in the barracks and throw all kinds of shit around? I think he wanted to hit me. Yeah, 25 years. After he come out of basic training, he ended up a cook. And he didn't know how to cook. Well, they show you real fast. And he enjoyed it so much, he spent 25 years in the Army. I think he made grade of Master Sergeant, but he was a cook. And when he retired, he told his wife, I'm not even making a cup of coffee. I ain't touching a pot, pan, nothing. No. And he never did either. I didn't know they had competitions like that. Like the Army's version of Food Network. Oh, God, Kathy, his mantle was full of awards. Matter of fact, he said he had so goddamn many, they're like still in the box. He had won Best Mess for like, I think he said he won 20 years over the total of the 25 he was in the service. And you know, you've got maybe 8 or 10 guys under you. Everybody's preparing something. And then I don't know how they present it or what. I was getting to the point where, you know, I was figuring he was going to throw me out of the house. So I kind of backed off. Matter of fact, he had a big, huge oven in his basement. And like a week before this competition, he would be baking stuff, making food, because he did something I'd never seen before. He, when he would bake hams, which we're talking hams, multiple, many, he encased them in bread dough. I'd never heard of that. It was like a giant muffin with a ham in the middle. I'd never. And I've never heard it since. You know, every now and then I'll look at a different way. Well, when I was cooking, I'd look at a different way to prepare a ham. And I never saw any recipe where you encased it in bread dough. I would have eaten the finished bread. The hell with the ham. That had to be some great tasting bread with all that ham juice in it. Do you have a tracking number? Am I looking for a package or am I looking for like an envelope? I would, Ron, I would hope that when they're serving the meal, they would have that bread cut into sections because that had to be delicious. Yeah, basically like a ham Wellington. But can you imagine how good that bread would taste? Oh, I hope they cut that up and, served it with the meal. You know what? Do you have the number handy where you could give me the last four digits? And then tomorrow, when I get my informed delivery email, I can check and see if them. Because every day, if I'm getting a package, it gives me the tracking number, but mainly I just look for the last four digits. Let me get a piece of paper here. I always have note paper handy. Okay, we got two digits. Give me the last four. Last four, 7355. All right, let me find 487355. 487355. All right, I will look for that on my informed delivery. You sent it to 3967, right? I think I gave you my address, all that information once, didn't I? Yeah, I had to. If Ron had my address, you had to have it. I don't publicize it. I put it in an email. I don't need no bombs sitting outside my door. Bad enough I was getting people with pitchforks and torches. You know, my front porch, I bought an LED front porch light. And it's got a beam that shines straight up and a beam that shines straight down. So the beam illuminates the top over the door, and the beam at the bottom illuminates the porch. Well, as I was coming home and backing in the driveway, I spotted some trick or treaters. And I was like, holy shit, I gotta turn that porch light out. They'll think I got candy. Okay. Well, if you got it from Ron, you got the right address because anything Ron sends, I get. I thought I gave it to you. That's okay. Ron could give it to you. You could give it to Linda too, although we don't see Linda no more. I think she gave up on me. She went over the hill with the pirates. No. Ron couldn't have 4003 because all the packages have 3967. If it went to 4003, we're screwed because they won't forward it. That's a different zip code. That's a different post office. That's zip code 35. I'm 11. That's a completely different post office. Because Ron has the proper address. Because when I got the shirt and I got the lighter, it was 3967. God, I haven't been at 4003 in 8 years. Yeah, that's what I said. I know you had 39.6. I don't know where Linda got 403 from. They'll probably return it to you. Addressee unknown. Hopefully the people that got it refuse it. You know what? In the morning, I'll take a ride up there and I'll ask them if they got a package for me. Although, if you check the tracking number, it'll either say delivered or not delivered yet. If it hasn't been delivered yet, I can ride up there and park on the street, wait for the mailman to come by and go, "Hey, that package is mine." I'll drive up there anyway. It's just up the street. But it's, believe it or not, when I was living up there, and my buddy Wayne was living right next door, if I stepped out of my driveway onto his front lawn, I was in a different zip code. Transfer to a different holding facility. Well, that could mean one of two things. Possibly it might get forwarded, or it could get returned. I will drive up there tomorrow, and I'll tell the people I'm expecting a package that got misdirected. Or maybe I can catch the mailman. I don't know what time their mail gets delivered. Mine gets delivered in the afternoon. I used to love it up there because I used to get my mail like at 9 o'clock in the morning. Here, I don't get my mail until 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which kind of pisses me off if I'm waiting for something. Yeah, it's the same street, 3967, and the zip code is 44111. Over there, it's 44135. Yeah, but all right, doesn't say delivered. Then I'll take a ride up in the morning. I would assume they get their mail delivered at the same time. Yeah, that's my old address. How did you ever get that address? God, I haven't had that address in 8 years. Yeah, it's the same street, 3967, but the zip code is 44111. But that's all right. I'll take a ride up in the morning. I'll try to catch the mailman. Yeah, Ron, you got the everything correct because anything you send me, I get. I'm just wondering how. I'm trying to figure out how you would have got that old address. Do I still have that stupid address on my faceplant page? I guess I'm going to have to go in and do some deleting. That's all right. One of two things. I'll be able to catch the carrier, or I'll stop at their house And if not, then they'll return it. Although let's hope they read the name. Some people don't pay attention. They're like, oh, I'm expecting packages. Oh, here it is. What the hell's this? Then they look at the address and it's all torn and they're like, ugh. Oh, I was reading our local neighborhood webpage this morning. They caught the porch pirate. The one that stole the package from that woman the other day. Well, I guess there happened to be an undercover car just driving through the neighborhood when they spotted her dashing up on the porch and stealing a package. And they looked at the Ring doorbell footage and they went, oh, you're the one from the other day. Yeah, I guess she jumped in the car and took off, and the chase was on for a couple of blocks. Then the driver, pulled over, and she ended up in silver bracelets. And she got her package back because she actually allowed the officers into her house and she went, I guess she had like 20 packages in her house. Drive down the street, whoop, grab it and run. That's why I like my carrier. Jasmine brings it to the side door. If it don't fit in the milk chute, she sticks it in the door and rings the bell. Matter of fact, every day when she delivers, she rings the bell. That way I know my mail's in the milk chute. Because I asked her, I said, could you ring the bell? I said, you don't have to wait. Just alert me. So every day when I get my mail, that's how I know. Like today, we had a substitute. I just happened to look on eBay and it said, delivered, delivered, delivered. And I was like, delivered? I opened the milk chute, and there they were. Well, Kathy, it's nationwide. They actually had a video of people following a UPS truck, and the driver would drop the package and then drive off, and they would come down and steal the package. I guess one person that, God, where the hell was it? Indiana, Illinois, something like that. They were following a UPS truck. And this one woman just happened to be watching, her Ring doorbell camera. and she called 911 right away. And I guess there was a car not that far away, and they stopped this van, and it had like 50 packages in it. So they basically called UPS and they said, we got somebody who's been following your driver, and there's 50 packages in this van. After we got done taking photographs for evidence, can you re-deliver them? Yeah, they were literally following the UPS truck down his route. He'd drop a package, he'd pull away, they'd steal it. He'd drop another package, pull away, they'd steal it. You know, what they don't realize, there's a lot of times FedEx and UPS deliver medication, and they're stealing people's, medication. It started during COVID, and it's getting worse and worse, and now with the holidays coming up, it's disgusting. Just, yeah, plain and simple, greed. Plain and simple. Yeah, right, Ron, greed. I just wonder what they do with the stuff that they don't want. Throw it away. That's the thing that I always wonder about. What do they do with the items they don't want? Like, oh, I can't sell this on Facebook Marketplace. Throw it away. That's why I'm glad I've got a wonderful mail carrier. I've got a wonderful UPS man. Now that the little pixie has the FedEx route, I've only gotten 2 packages by FedEx, and she, right to the side door, rings the bell. Because on all of, like, on eBay, the the second address line, you have your name and then the address, and then you got the second address line. I have right on there, delivered to Milk Chute, ring bell. Right? It said, deliver to Milk Chute, ring bell. Now, my postal carrier didn't ring the bell, but it's right on there. Whenever I order something from eBay, it's built into my address. Deliver to Milk Chute, ring bell. Same thing. Now, I don't use Amazon. I have changed it on everything. eBay, Amazon, Temu, in that second address line, I put deliver to milk chute, ring bell. Matter of fact, I've got it on my Home Depot. Matter of fact, it's on my Staples account too. I changed it on anything I order a package from. And then I have all them signs on the front porch that they ignore. Matter of fact, I experimented. I can't remember. I think I did it with my Staples account first. I put on there, deliver to milk chute, ring bell. And then I noticed on the address label it said, deliver to milk chute, ring bell. So then I went on eBay, I went on Amazon, I went on Home Depot, uh, anything I order from. I changed it. And like, I informed the UPS. Well, the UPS man used to do it anyway, before I even requested it. He would leave a package at the side door and ring the bell to alert me that it's there. And if you have a great postal carrier like I have, like I asked her, I said, can you just ring the bell every day? And she's, yeah. She goes, the doorbell's right next to the milk chute. Puts it in the milk chute, shuts the door, hits the doorbell, ding, 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 ding. I was like, oh, mail's here. Package is here. The only ones that I have to get conditioned to is SpeedX, Uni, Yun Express, and Golfo. Those are the ones that I don't even think they bother to look at the second part of the address. Like the idiot that put my alternator right underneath the sign that says deliver to side door with an arrow. And then took a picture. Look, I delivered it right underneath the sign that said take it to the side door. God, Kathy and Ron, I remember I told you the story about one, oh, this goes back years ago, when I ordered the 35-inch Magnavox flat screen, and it was in December, and it sat on my front porch for like 3 days. It amazed me that nobody stole it because they didn't even wrap the box. They just put a shipping label on the box. And my neighbor called and said, are you waiting for a TV? I said, yeah, why? He said, well, it's been sitting on the front porch for 3 days. I couldn't believe that, and that was FedEx. I couldn't believe that they would deliver a flat screen TV and not knock on the door or ring a bell. Just throw it at the. God, that's got to be about 15 years ago. And believe it or not, that Magnavox still works like the day I got it. That's the TV number 3 in the bedroom. That's the one that's hooked to the DVD player. Yeah, I have the Samsung for my YouTube viewing, and then I have the LG for my local TV stations, and then I have the Magnavox when I want to watch a DVD. My kid thinks I'm nuts. How come you need all these TV sets? I said, well, first of all, I have them. And second of all, I just like the setup. Yeah, I flick the local news on in the morning. 3, 5, 8, 19. And then I shut it off. And I continue watching what I was watching on YouTube, unless I was watching a DVD, or have all three of them on at the same time. It looked like a TV station. Yeah, Ron, like I say, actually, I'm, I'm fucking lazy. I don't want to change the inputs on my TV. Instead of my Roku input antenna. Hell with it. I have one TV hooked to my Roku box through my internet, another TV hooked to the antenna, and another TV hooked to a DVD player. Just turn them on. That's it. Tonight is Italian sausage heaped with peppers and onions. Everything, I prepped it all earlier. I cut up that whole big, huge red pepper and a big onion, sauteed them down. Right now, they're in a container in the microwave so that when I make my sandwich, and I cooked the Italian sausage about 3/4 of the way through. So after the show, just hit the skillet, get it nice and hot, hit the microwave, get the peppers and onions nice and hot. I'm going to take my baguette and put it in the toaster oven for just a few seconds, just enough to warm it through. And then I'm going to make a big. Matter of fact, there'll be so many peppers and onions you won't be able to find the Italian sausage. With a nice fresh baguette. Next time I go shopping, I'm going to get one. And I'm going to make garlic bread out of it. Today I ran up to Mark's because they had a big sale going. They had 2 1-pound packs of butter, 2 for $5. Then they had, get this, extra large eggs. 2 dozen for $3. Extra large, not little dinky. So I got a pound of regular butter and a pound of unsalted. And then I got 2 dozen extra large eggs. $3. That's $1.50 a dozen. That's unheard of. I remember we were paying $6 a dozen for small eggs. And today I looked up to make I got a recipe for the brine to make pickled eggs. I'm going to take a dozen and I'm going to pickle a dozen. I love pickled eggs. And in order to turn them beet red, you pour beet juice in the brine. That's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to get a couple of cans of beets. And then pour the. Kathy, did you ever? I don't know if your grandmother ever did it. At Easter time, did she hard boiled eggs in onion skins? You end up with like a tan colored egg. For people that, couldn't afford egg coloring. My grandmother used to do that. She would save onion skins, mainly the dark brown skins, and then she would put them in the bottom of the pan and make sure that they were all, saturated. Then she would put the eggs on top of the onion skins and then add, enough water to cover and boil them. Oh, so you know that trick. A lot of people don't. But that was basically back, like during the days like, we'll say after the Depression and that, people still didn't have a lot of money to buy food coloring. I thought that was kind of cool. We never had blue, green, yellow. We always had them tan eggs that she boiled with onion skins. Matter of fact, I did it for a couple of years with my kid, although he was like, "Oh, come on, Dad, I want blue, green," and Yeah, I guess like my great grandparents did it, and it just was passed down the line. You want to color eggs for Easter? Save onion skins. And what she would do is she always had a crayon, and I could put my name on, put my name on mom, dad, grandma, grandpa. And when you hard boil them, there's the name when you get done. Oh yeah, they do come out cool because it's odd because some will come out darker than others. It's like the way the eggshell is. It'll absorb more of the brown water than the other ones. So they actually came out like different colors. But I always thought that was neat. Yeah, she had a an onion bag that she kept in the pantry. And when she would peel onions, she would save the brown skins for Easter. Then she'd put them in the pan, add some water so that they got all gooey, and put the eggs on top of the onion skins, boil them away. Matter of fact, my father said he never knew what a colored egg was until later on in life because at Easter time, that's what they had brown dyed eggs. Yeah, it's something that goes back, I would say, the 1900s, maybe even farther back than that. I always wondered how they came up with that idea. Did somebody accidentally throw some eggs in with boiling onions or something? It's odd how that came about. Oh, Ron, I hate hearing that, buddy. Yeah, it makes me feel bad that, I'm not close enough. Well, what could I do? It's sad that that shit happens. I wish they could find something to help you out with that. But God, I feel bad for you, buddy. Nothing worse than goddamn foot pain. I mean, back pain is bad enough, but God, at least with back pain, you can kind of get up and walk it off. With foot pain, what can you do? Lie in bed with your feet up. That's about it. And even that don't do any good. Well, just think good thoughts, Ron, that you're soon to be a homeowner. Maybe that'll help take it away. You don't have to worry about elephants tromping over your head. Have your own little nest egg there. Maybe even with a garage so that your car is protected. And you could even be like me. Have a second car as an emergency backup. I got some neighbors that still don't understand that. Why do you need two cars? Because if one don't start or something's wrong and I gotta go somewhere, I have a backup. And maybe I'll get lucky enough to have a backup to the backup. Red with a tan top. Oh, that'll piss my neighbors off. Oh, I could see the flatbed backing up the driveway, dropping that sucker, and they're going, holy shit, another car and a Corvette on top of it? Although, like I say, I'm going to buy a brand new battery for it. I want to see if it starts. Although with 6-year-old gasoline, I don't expect it to run very well. Matter of fact, I went up to BP today, topped off the tank with 93 octane. And then I went down to Ryan and I said, do I have to keep running this thing on 93? He said, no. Once this tank is out, you you can use 86. But he said maybe like every other fill up, top off the tank with 93. So that's what I'll do. Because I don't let my cars get below half a tank. So the next time, well, maybe at BP I'll use 87 instead of 86. And then the next time, 93. I'll just keep going back and forth. Because BP has 86, 87, and 93. Oh, I missed that. You're trying some new stuff today. I hope it works. I hope whatever you're trying works. I missed that. I'm glad I caught it before it got blooped away. Fingers crossed that it works. I know Carlos will be pissed off because he he drives around the neighborhood and if he sees cars that have been sitting, he offers to buy them. Then what he does is he takes them back to his shop, and if it isn't something too serious, he has his mechanics get them ready and then he flips them. So I haven't even mentioned the Corvette. The only time I'll mention it is if everything goes right, and I'll tell them, hey, I need you to air up 4 tires and flatbed it to the house. I'm going to have to text Bill, find out when he's not working any more overtime so that he can come over here and I can go check that car out. God, I hope it starts. I know it's going to run like shit. I just hope it starts. And then I hope that the clutch is working all right. I tend to think that Jim bought that car and was going to have it repainted and then flip it. And he just never got around to it. Because you don't take a perfectly good running, driving car like a Corvette and park it for 6 years. But you have to know Jim. Everything was a project. Oh, it's a project. It's a project car. I'll get to it. But it really was interesting that goofy wire under the dashboard happened to come loose after he stopped driving it. Because he was driving it. That's the only reason I was really hot after that Passat. I knew it was a driver. Plus, I knew the secret to closing the sunroof and getting the back window closed. He never bothered to look in the manual. If he'd have looked in the manual, it says, if for some reason your sunroof won't close, pull down the compartment in the middle of the roof, right above the sunroof controls. There's a plate. You pull it down, and attached to the plate is a crank. And you just crank it shut. Matter of fact, I showed Bill. I said, look, I popped the panel down. I said, there it is. Dink. I got it shut. Perfect. No leaks. Never to be opened again. Matter of fact, I even pulled the shade, that sliding panel, because I don't even like the light coming through them. See, the Volkswagen dealer did not tell him about the crank because they wanted to put a new motor in the sunroof. So they didn't even bother to tell him, like, here, just pop this panel down, here's a crank. That's why I don't trust dealerships. The only thing is, thank God, I don't have electrical problems with that car. Sitting for 4 years with the sunroof open, and luckily I was able to dry the seats out. No mold, no smell, no odor. So I took the passenger rear door and I just cranked the window shut. I don't need to put it down. The passenger door, the window goes up and down fine. The back door on this side, window goes up and down fine. All I got to do is have the glass company reattach them goofy plastic clips so that then the driver's window can go up and down. But sunroof, screw it. I'm never going to use it. But that motor just idles so smooth now with that gasoline. Once it comes out of high idle, smooth as can be. And there isn't, I'll tell you what, I don't have much turbo lag. There's a little. I'm still getting used to it. But not like it was. Holy Christ. Step on the gas. So I talked to Ryan Monday morning, drop it off. They'll go through all four wheels, gonna check the brakes, get them straightened out for me, and then hopefully we're done. No more bugs. Although, thank goodness that he let me have that car. He could have said, "Oh, no, not until I have all the paperwork. No, 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 no." And I says to him, I says, "I want to get this thing ready so that in January, trouble free." Because the spongy brakes are the last thing that needs to get done. I mean, basically, I could drive it that way. It's just the pedal's a little funny, and when I step on the brake, I want to stop right now. And that's what I forgot to do today. I drove right past the auto parts store. I wanted to get oil and a filter. As long as they have it on the rack, change the oil. I'll do it over the weekend. I'll find out who's got the cheapest synthetic oil. AutoZone, Advanced Auto Parts, or O'Reilly. And the way I drive, I'm only going to have to change oil once a year. Matter of fact, speaking of eBay, that guy didn't answer me back about them bulbs. Them crappy mint green. Yeah, monster green. Yeah. Anemic monster green. I forgot to check the weather for tomorrow. Let me see what the temperature's going to be. I get my wiring done. Get them fog lights hooked up. Come on, weather app, open up. Channel 19, first alert, weather. Okay, let's see. Saturday, 54, partly cloudy. Sunday, 57, partly cloudy. Monday, 57, partly cloudy. Tuesday, 57, partly cloudy. Wednesday, 57, partly cloudy. Thursday, 51 and showers. 30% chance. Friday, 57, 55% chance of showers. Well, good. I'm going to have some 57-degree weather. No, tomorrow 54. Sunday 57, Monday 57. That's good. I'll park in the backyard. When the sun hits the car, then I'll get my ass out there. Good. Sunday I should be able to get all my wiring done. Actually, it's only an hour's worth of work. That's all it is. An hour's worth of work. I could have it all buttoned up in an hour, have all the fog lights work and everything. Just getting my lazy ass out there to do it. And I got 2 more fog lights to mount. And then I'll be done with the lights. And I got to mount a speaker for the siren. That's easy. I just got to drill 2 holes. Yeah, it's about an hour and a half at the most. If I stop for a coffee and a cigarette break. Because when I run the wires up front, I'll run them all at once. I'll tape them all together and pull them all through. Because I bought wire color coded. So the yellow fog lights, I have a yellow wire. For the green fog lights, I have a green wire. Plus the green, green. And then the blue fog lights, I have a blue wire. And the white fog lights, I have a white wire. And then everything for ground is black. So it'll be all color coded right to the switches. Yellow, green, blue, Oh, Jesus, Ron. God, you can't win. Oh, that sucks. Have you tried like I got that foot bath with it heats the water, and it's got a massager in it. Have you ever tried? Although I don't get nasty, unbearable foot pain, but when I do, I crank the temperature up to about 100, and then turn on the massager. And the nice thing is, with it being temperature controlled, the water stays at 100. No help. Well, hey, I was just throwing something out there to try to help relieve your agony, buddy. I hate hearing that. Too bad the new stuff didn't work. That sucks. Mm-mm-mm. Sorry about that, pal. I hate hearing that. Well, tonight's the first night you tried it, right? Uh, Yeah, Kathy's reading my mind. It may take a little bit. Yeah, it might take a couple of days, and then fingers crossed that eventually maybe it works. See, I mainly get, like, towards the end of the day, I get nasty foot pain in that right big toe because, it's like this. So basically, I'm walking on the tip of that fucking toe. Thank God next week I go to the foot doctor, and as much as I hate to hear the word surgery, I'm going to have to get it done. Yeah, it took about a week for that stuff to kick in. But boy, I'll tell you what, it has cut my pain level down tremendously. I have to apologize to my pain management doctor for laughing when he said, "Oh, just get some over the counter magnesium." I was like, "Oh, yeah, right." I thought he was blowing me off. Now I gotta apologize and say, "Hey, Jesus Christ, it's working." Yeah, it usually takes about a week. And it was about the seventh day I started really start it, I was like, wow, this shit's working. That's why I've been, Kathy, when I had to go out and bolt that axle back up, I would not have been able to continuously work because the pain would have set in. I I got the axle up and I had to fight with it, get it in place. I had to spin it around to line all the holes up, crank the bolts in, tighten them down, put the goddamn tire on, fight with them fucking goofy bolts. When I got done, I I had no extensive pain. I was getting aches and twinges, For an over-the-counter item that anybody can buy, you don't need a prescription. As a matter of fact, I'm going to ask him, why didn't you mention this sooner? You know, it took for me to get that goddamn cattle prod pain for him to go, oh, try magnesium. Had he suggested that earlier, like a couple of years earlier, but I'm going to apologize for laughing because I did. I was like, yeah, right. Now I got to go in and grovel. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I doubted your medical knowledge. Works. Oh, I told my friend when we talked Sunday. Now she's only been on it for a week. She said she actually doesn't have to use the walker. She's now just using a cane. And she's getting better every day. And you know, she went for MRIs and CT scans and everything, and the doctor's like, oh, I'm thankful. I'm gonna grovel. I'm gonna say, gee, I'm sorry I doubted you, you know, because I did. I laughed, and it's marvelous, a wonder drug. And like I say, I gave my friend that information, and she told me Sunday, she goes, I'm using a cane now. I don't have to use the walker. I don't have to worry about falling down. All right, Rudy, have a good night. See you tomorrow. It's about that time anyway. I have an Italian sausage sandwich calling me. You know, Kathy, I didn't mention to Mary Ann because, you know, she's all natural, you know. And I would have gotten a lecture, you know. But there's a woman that works her ass off. She works in the yard daily and never complains about an ache or a pain or anything because she's into all this natural, holistic, you name it. Like when I mentioned to her, you know, that 10 years back when I had to start chemo. Oh God, no, you don't want to do that. You know, take take ragweed and roll in it. I'm like, Mary Ann. Oh no, I've got fidget weed in the backyard that you can boil and make a tea out of it and drink it. I don't tell Marianne too much. It works for her. Don't push your stuff off on me. She thinks everybody in the world should all do natural, holistic, all this other. It don't work for everything. That's why I don't talk medical ailments with her too often. Yeah, I got this fidget weed. You take it, you dry it, you boil it, make tea out of it, drink it 3 times a day, put a little honey in it. Thanks, Marianne. I'll pass on the fidget weed. Because in her backyard, she has a weed patch. And certain weeds, like the Indians, certain weeds, certain ailments. If it works for her, great. But she thinks everybody should do things like that. And there's certain times when you do need medical intervention. Because I had asked her, this is a couple of years back. I said to her, Marianne, when are you going to cut all them fucking weeds down that are growing back by your garage? Oh, those are healing weeds. Healing weeds? Oh, yeah, I got bazonga bush and I got gotia bush and I got this fidget weed and. All right, Ron. Have a good evening. I hope you're feeling better, buddy. We're going to wrap up here in a minute or so anyway. Finish my cigarette, finish my coffee. I was going to say go do a little trick or treating, but I don't think people would give me any candy. Get out of here, old man. I wouldn't dare step out of this house with that wig on. Good to the last drop. Not too happy with that French roast. It says dark roast, but it's not dark enough for me. I should have bought the Colombian. Kathy, try telling that to Marianne. Like I say, back behind her garage, between the garage and the fence is probably a good 10 feet. It's full of weeds, but they're healing weeds. Like I say, it works for her. Christ, she don't even like taking an aspirin. I don't know why she is so down on the medical field, but she got no use for doctors and that. Don't, like I say, if it works for her, don't push it off on me. That's why I didn't mention the magnesium. I was like, she'd have told me, oh, wait a minute, I got a weed back here that'll work just as well. No, thank you. Well, I think let's call it a night. We know where, right here. All right, everybody, thanks for being here. Hopefully I can do some intervention and get that package. One way or another, we'll figure something out. All right, have a wonderful rest of your evening. And maybe I'll wear a party hat tomorrow. All right. Take care.